So the pieces that we need that we start out with, we have a 7.5 by 15 inch rectangle, and you can see that we've serged the edges or sealed it in some other sort of way. You can iron them down like this if you want to. It makes it a little bit faster, but you don't have to, because what we're going to end up doing is sewing them together like this. But anyway, so 7.5 by 15 inch rectangle, and then we also have two 2-inch strips. These are about 43 inches to 45 inches. I would say a range from 40 to 50 inches is good for the strips. So we take our rectangle, we'll fold it in half, right sides on the outside. With the serge seam on the inside. You can use really any type of seam allowance that you want. I think right now I'm using about a 3/8 of an inch. What we'll do is we'll back stitch on one end, go about an inch or two, back stitch again, lift up your foot, move it to the other end, do the same on this side. Cut that guy out. So now you've got your sides stitched together with an opening for the filter. Okay, from here, we'll take one of our strips. I fold it in half to find the middle. Take that middle, and you can either line up the middle with the top of your mask, or you can put it in the middle, however is easiest for you. I've been lining it up with the top. And then stitch the top of this just a tiny bit. Move this guy out of the way. The next step we're going to be doing is pleating it. If you want, you can do this exact, but it's really not needed, so you can just kind of eyeball it. Take your fingers like this, pinch, do 1, 2, 3. Each mask kind of varies a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then you'll lay your binding across the folds. Continue your stitch all the way down to the end. Back stitch. Take it off. So you have one side with your pleating. Now you'll do the other side. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. I use my scissors to kind of hold it down while I find the middle of this strip. Line up the middle with the top. Lay it down. Then you'll stitch this side down. Alright, so now we've got both of our binding strips sewn onto the edges, right sides together. You can see the top, we still have that opening right here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to create our binding. So with it right side down, take this one end of the binding strip, and you can seal the edges if you want. This one was already sealed because it was part of a sheet, I think. But you really don't have to. These are going to go through the sanitation process and kind of get worn anyway. So if you want to take the extra time to fold the side over and seal it, you can, but I haven't been. And then you'll fold the sides in like this, and then fold it in half. This doesn't have to be exact. Stick that end under there. Back stitch, and then this is kind of the fun, fast part. So you can pull, if you have a lot of weight down on your presser foot, you can pull the binding back, fold it in half again. So I'll do that one more time. You can fold it, and then fold it in half again, like that. I run my fingers through the middle to kind of like line it up nice and flat. And then go right to it. Reset. If you're really good at bias tape, you can do this faster than me, but I have to stop and reset every so often. And then I just cut some of these extra threads to get them out of the way. Okay. When you get to the pleating part, just go ahead and fold this bias and make sure that you got that tucked in underneath that bias tape. You'll just fold it right on top and then stitch right along that edge. Go all the way to the end. And then if you want, you can cut your thread here, or in order to save thread, you can just start on the other side. So you can see we have one side that's finished and one side that's still open. So I'll just take the end of this bias strip again, just like we did in the first one. Fold it in half. Like so. Make sure to stick that pleating in there. So you have one mask. You'll need to cut the threads at this opening here. And then you should also have one thread keeping these together, so you'll just cut that. And that's the mask. So it's got this opening for pocket for your filter, and then ties on the top and ties on the bottom. And this binding can be used for any other type of mask too, so if you want to make a different pattern for the middle and then attach the binding that way that I just did, it's very universal. So, yeah.